was 12 years old when he found the thing that would change his life forever. He lived in a small town in Montana with his parents and an older sister. The mountains near his house were his favorite place to explore. He would spend hours walking through the thick forests, climbing rocks, and looking for birds and animals. On a cold morning in October, heard a sound he had never heard before. It was like thunder, but different. It came from the sky and got louder and louder. He looked up and saw something that made his heart stop. A light was falling from the clouds, moving very fast. It was not a plane. It was something else. The light crashed into the mountains, heard the sound of breaking metal and the ground shaking beneath his feet. For a moment, everything was quiet. Then he started running toward the sound. His parents had told him to stay away from strange things, but was curious. He could not stop himself from going to see what had crashed. It took him an hour to reach the place where the object had fallen. When he got there, could not believe what he saw. A ship was on the ground, but not like any ship he had ever seen in pictures. It was made of a metal that looked silver and blue. The shape was strange, with curved edges and lights that were not working anymore. Parts of it were broken. Smoke was coming from a hole in the side. Moved slowly toward the ship. He was scared, but also very interested. He had never seen anything like this before. As he got closer, he heard a sound coming from inside the ship. It was a voice, but not like a human voice. It was high and shaky, making sounds that did not understand. He moved through the broken part of the ship and went inside. The light inside was very dark. His eyes had to get used to the darkness. After a few seconds, he could see better, and then he saw her. She was on the ground and she was hurt. At first thought she was a person, but then he realized she was not. Her skin had a blue color and was smooth like water. Her eyes were very big and dark, and her body was thin and long. She had 4 arms instead of 2. When she saw, she made a sound that was like fear. Did not run away. He did not feel as scared as he thought he would be. Instead, he felt something else. He felt like he wanted to help her. The alien girl tried to move away from him, but she could not move very far. Blood was on her arm and could see she was hurt badly. She was trying to say something, but could not understand the words. She kept making sounds that showed pain. Decided to help her. He found some cloth inside the ship and wrapped it around her hurt arm. The girl made sounds, but thought they were sounds of thanks, not sounds of fear. He looked at her eyes and tried to smile so she would know he wanted to help her, not hurt her. He could not leave her in the ship. It was cold and dark. He needed to find a safe place for her. Thought about his house, but his parents would ask too many questions. They would call the police or the army. Then they would take the girl away and was not sure what would happen to her. Knew about an old barn that was not far from his house. It had belonged to a farm that was not working anymore. Nobody went there. It would be a good place to hide the girl and keep her safe. He helped the girl stand up. She was taller than, but she was very weak. She put one of her arms on his shoulder, and he helped her walk out of the broken ship. It was hard to walk through the mountains with her, but did not give up. He moved slowly and carefully. The girl could barely walk, but she tried hard. It took them many hours to reach the old barn. The sun was going down when they got there. Helped the girl lie down on some hay. She was very tired and closed her eyes. Brought water from the small stream near the barn. He found an old cup and gave her water to drink. She drank it all and then rested her head again. Sat next to her and watched her sleep. He had so many questions in his head. Where did she come from? Why was she here? What would happen now? He did not know the answers, but he knew one thing. He could not tell anyone about this. He had to keep this secret. That night went home and acted like everything was normal. He ate dinner with his family. He did his homework. He went to bed, but he could not sleep. He kept thinking about the girl in the barn. He kept thinking about her big dark eyes and the way she looked at him with fear and hope at the same time. The next morning woke up early before his family got up. He packed some food in a bag, some bread and cheese and water. He told his parents he was going to explore the mountains. They said okay, but told him to be back before dark. took the food and went to the barn. The girl was awake. She was sitting up and her eyes were watching the door. When she saw, she made a soft sound, thought it was a greeting. He sat down next to her and showed her the food. She looked at it like she was not sure if she could eat it, but then she tried some bread. She ate slowly, but she seemed hungry. They sat together in the barn for a long time. Neither of them could talk to the other, but they tried, pointed to himself and said his name. The girl made a sound that was different. She pointed to herself and made another sound, high and clear, tried to copy it, and the girl made a sound that thought was a laugh. Found a book in his backpack and started drawing pictures in the dirt. He drew a picture of the sky and pointed up. He drew a picture of a ship. He drew a picture of the girl. She watched him draw and made sounds that seemed like she understood. Days passed like this. Went to the barn every day with food and water. He brought old blankets to keep her warm. He brought bandages for her arm. Very slowly she got better. Did not go to school for 3 days because he was taking care of her. His parents got worried and called the school, had to think of a lie. He told them he was sick. They believed him. The girl never tried to hurt. She never tried to run away or attack him. She was kind to him in her own way. When was tired, she would make soft sounds that he thought were kind sounds. When he was sad, she would sit next to him and let him rest against her. They could not talk in words, but they understood each other in a different way. One night brought his radio to the barn. He turned it on very low and music came out. The girl had never heard music before. She listened with her big eyes open wide, thought she was hearing music for the first time. She made a small sound and moved her body a little like she was dancing. Smiled. 3 weeks after found her, something bad happened. Was in the barn giving her food when he heard a sound in the sky. He ran outside and looked up. Lights were coming down from the clouds, but these lights were big and bright and looked like the girl's ship, but bigger. Many of them. The girl came outside and looked at the lights. She made loud sounds that had never heard before. She pointed up at the lights and looked at, could see fear in her eyes, but also something else. She looked like she needed to go with those lights. Felt sad. He knew this meant she had to leave him. The girl put one of her hands on shoulder. She closed her eyes and made sounds that sounded like she was saying something very important. Did not know what she was saying, but he thought it was a promise. She was promising something to him. Then she moved toward the lights, watched as a light came down from the sky and touched her. In a moment, she was gone. The light went back up into the clouds, and all the other lights went with it. They all went higher and higher until could not see them anymore. Stood alone in the field, watching the empty sky. He was only 12 years old, but he felt older. He knew something had changed in him. He had helped someone who needed help, and now that person was gone, but thought she would remember him. And maybe, one day, she would come back. 15 years passed after saw the lights take the alien girl away. He never told anyone about what happened in the mountains. He kept the secret locked inside him like a treasure chest that nobody else could open. Sometimes he thought about that night when he was young, and he wondered if it was real or just a dream he had forgotten. Was now 27 years old. He worked as a structural engineer at a company that built bridges and buildings. He was good at his job. People liked working with him because he was smart and kind, but inside felt empty. He felt like something was missing from his life, like a piece of a puzzle that he could not find. He lived in a small apartment in Denver. Every day was the same. He woke up, went to work, came home, ate dinner, and went to sleep. He had friends at work, but he did not have a girlfriend. He did not have close friends outside of work. He spent most nights alone in his apartment, reading books or watching television. Sometimes would look at the sky at night and think about the girl. He wondered where she was now. He wondered if she was happy. He wondered if she had forgotten about the boy who helped her in the barn. These thoughts made him sad, but he did not know why. He was sad about a girl he had met when he was 12 years old, a girl who was not even human. Tried to tell himself that it was just a childhood dream. His brain had made up the story when he was young, but in his heart, he knew it was real. He could still see her big dark eyes. He could still hear the soft sound she made. He could still feel the way she had touched his shoulder when she was leaving. One morning in November was at work when something strange happened. His boss came to his desk and told him to turn on the television. Everyone in the office was gathering around the screens, moved closer to watch. On the news, a reporter was talking very fast. Her voice was excited and scared at the same time. Behind her were pictures from space. Saw something that made his heart beat faster. It was a fleet of ships, many ships. They were coming toward Earth. The reporter was saying something about aliens. She was saying that a message had come to the government of the United States. The message said that alien ships were entering the space around Earth. The ships belonged to something called the Empire. The leader of these ships wanted to meet with the leaders of the world. Felt like the floor was moving beneath his feet. He had to sit down. His asked him if he was okay but did not answer. He could only watch the television. In the next few hours, more information came. Scientists were trying to understand where these ships came from. Military people were getting ready for a possible attack. Government leaders were meeting to decide what to do. The president was going to speak to the whole world. But the most important news came later in the day. The reporters said the name of the leader of the ships. They said her name was Queen Sira. Felt like someone had hit him in the chest. He could not breathe. He had to leave work. He told his boss he was sick and drove home as fast as he could. He sat in his apartment and shook. It could not be the same girl. It could not be her. But the name was the same. The name was Sira. He turned on the television and watched all night. More information was coming about the Queen. Scientists were saying she was a great leader. She had made her empire very powerful. She was known for being wise and making hard choices. She was also known for being different from other leaders because she believed in making peace instead of making war. Looked at the pictures they showed of the Queen, but he could not see her face very well. She was far away in the pictures and it was hard to see. But he thought it could be her. The shape of her body. The way she moved. It all seemed like it could be the girl he had known. The next days were crazy. The whole world was watching what happened. Every news station was talking about the alien ships. Every person on Earth was worried or excited or both. Some people thought the aliens would attack Earth. Other people thought this was the best thing that ever happened to humans. Went back to work because he needed to be near other people. He could not stay in his apartment alone, but he could not stop thinking about the Queen. He checked his phone for news every few minutes. He watched videos of the Queen online. He tried to see if he could recognize the girl he knew so many years ago. One evening, got a phone call. It was from someone at the Department of Defense. The man on the phone said his name was General Harold. He said the government knew that had been near the place where an alien ship crashed 15 years ago. He said was seen on old reports. The general wanted to know what knew about that day. His heart was beating very fast. He had never told anyone. How did they know? He was quiet for a long time. The general said, "We need to know what you saw that day. We need to know everything." Took a deep breath and started talking. He told the general about the crash. He told him about finding the girl in the ship. He told him about helping her and hiding her in the barn. He told him about the lights that came and took her away. He told him everything, even though he felt scared. The general was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "This is very important. We need to talk to you in person. Can you come to a meeting? It is about the Queen and why she is coming to Earth." Said yes. He did not know what was happening, but he knew he had to go. 2 days later, was sitting in a big room with important government people. There were military officers and scientists and other people he did not know. They asked him many questions about the girl and what she was like. They asked him how she acted and what she wanted to do. They asked him if she had said anything about coming back to Earth. Answered all their questions. He told them everything he could remember. As he talked, he saw the people in the room looking at each other. They seemed to think his story was very important. A woman named Dr. Lisa said, "If this girl was really Queen Sira, then she might remember you. And if she remembers you, then maybe you can help us understand her better. Maybe you can help us talk to her." Felt something in his chest. Maybe the girl was the queen. Maybe she had become important and powerful. Maybe she would remember him. General Harold leaned forward and said, "Mister, we want you to go with us to meet the queen. We want you to be part of the diplomatic team. Your connection to her could be very important. Are you willing to do this?" Thought about the girl he had known so many years ago. He thought about her big dark eyes and the soft sound she made. He thought about the promise she had made when she left. He took a breath and said, "Yes, I will go." Was taken to a special building near Washington where important meetings happened. He was given special clothes and told how to behave when he met the queen. The people preparing him were nervous. They said that meeting with the queen was very important for Earth's future. He did not want to make any mistakes. They told that the queen had agreed to meet with him before she met with the president and other world leaders. This was unusual. Felt pressure building up inside him. What if she did not remember him? What if she was angry at him for some reason? What if she was not even the same girl he had known? Was taken to a big room with high ceilings and windows. Other people were there, but they stood far away from him. They had guns and devices he did not understand. Stood in the middle of the room and waited. A door opened, turned to look. The queen walked into the room and forgot how to breathe. She was real. She was here. She was not a girl anymore. She was a woman now, tall and beautiful. Her skin was the same blue color, but it seemed to shine like it had light inside it. Her eyes were the same dark eyes, but they looked older. She wore clothes that looked like they were made of silver and light. She had 4 arms and could see that she was very strong. She walked toward slowly. The other people in the room were very still. Nobody moved. Nobody made any sound. The queen looked at his face. Her big dark eyes looked into his eyes. Did not know what to do. He wanted to run to her and hug her like she was an old friend, but he also felt like he could not move. Then something changed in the queen's face. Her eyes got bigger. She made a soft sound. It was a sound he'd heard before. It was the same kind of sound the girl had made many years ago. The queen said. Her voice was different now, deeper and stronger, but could hear the girl inside that voice. "You are." Nodded. He could not speak. His heart was beating so hard he thought it might break his chest. The queen reached out with one of her hands and touched his face. Her hand was warm and soft. She looked at him like she was looking at something very important and very precious. She said words in her own language that did not understand, but he felt like he knew what she meant. "I am Sira," she said. "Do you remember me?" Found his voice. It came out small and shaky. "Yes," he said. "I remember you. I have always remembered you." Sira made a sound that thought might be crying, but she was not sad. Her eyes had a bright liquid in them, but she was also making a shape with her mouth that thought was a smile. "I remembered you every day," Sira said. "Every single day since I left. I never forgot what you did for me. I never forgot your kindness." She told to sit down. Sat in a chair and Sira sat next to him. The other people in the room were watching, but they seemed to understand that this moment was private. Sira told her story. She told him that when she crashed on Earth, she was running away from her own world. The government of her people wanted to control her. They wanted to use her for things she did not believe in. She had escaped on a small ship, but it had been damaged. That was why she crashed on Earth. She told that when her people found her and took her away, she was brought back to the world. She thought she would be punished, but instead, she found that she had supporters. She had people who believed in her ideas. She told that she had been thinking about him the whole time. She had been thinking about what he taught her about kindness and mercy. As she got older, Sira became more powerful. She made friends with people who believed in peace instead of war. She learned about the world and became wise. Eventually, she became queen of the empire. She said it was because people believed in her vision for a better future. "But I never forgot my debt to you," Sira said. "In my world, when someone saves your life, that debt is sacred. It is more important than anything else. I promised you that I would come back if you needed me, and now I am here." Asked why she had come to Earth, Sira's face became serious. "There is a danger coming," Sira said. "A danger from space. There is a group of beings called the Collective. They are very powerful and very evil. They go from world to world and they take everything. They enslave people and destroy civilizations. They are coming this way." Felt cold, he asked, "Are they coming here? Are they coming to Earth?" "Maybe," Sira said. "That is why I came. I came to warn the leaders of Earth. I came to offer help. But also I came because I know something that other leaders do not know. I know what humans are capable of. I know that humans are stronger than they seem. I know that humans will not give up, no matter how hard things are." She told that the other leaders of the Empire thought she was crazy. They did not believe that humans could be important allies. They thought humans were too weak and too primitive. But Sira had seen heart. She knew that humans had something special inside them. "I need humans to fight with me against the Collective," Sira said. "I need humans to show the whole galaxy what I know to be true. I need humans to prove that you are worth saving." Was shocked, he said, "But you are the Queen. You have the power to protect Earth. You do not need us to fight for you." Sira shook her head. "That is not what this is about," she said. "If I protect you, then you will always be weak. If I fight for you, then nobody will respect you. But if you stand with me and fight your own battle, then the whole galaxy will see your strength. That is what I believe. That is why I came here." Looked at the woman who had been a girl in his barn so many years ago. He saw wisdom in her eyes. He saw that she had thought about this for a long time. Said, "I will help you. Tell me what I need to do." Sira reached out with two of her hands and held both of his hands. Her touch was warm and strong. "That is all I need," Sira said. "I need one human who believes, one human who is willing to risk everything. That is how change begins." The meeting with the other world leaders happened after this. Sira told them that she had come to offer alliance and help. She told them about the danger coming from the Collective. She told them that if Earth would fight with the Empire, then Earth would gain knowledge and protection. But Sira also told them something that made many of them angry. She said that the Empire would not protect Earth like children. She said that humans would have to learn to fight and defend themselves. She said that the only way for humans to become part of the galactic community was to prove themselves through courage and action. Some leaders thought this was not a good offer. They wanted Sira to promise to protect them without any danger, but other leaders understood what Sira was saying. They understood that she was giving them a chance to become something greater. In the days after this meeting, worked with Sira and her people. They taught humans about space and about the enemies that were out there. They shared some technology and knowledge, but they also trained human soldiers. They told humans that they would have to be ready for battle. Became a bridge between humans and He was not a military person, but he understood both worlds. He understood how humans thought and how thought. He helped them work together. Sira and spent time together when she was not busy with work. They talked about the past and the future. Sira told that she had thought about him every day, told Sira about his lonely life and how he had always felt like something was missing. "You were missing," Sira said simply. "A part of your life was missing because we were separated." Knew she was right. He had been waiting for something without knowing what he was waiting for. He had been waiting for Sira to return. Sira told that her debt to him would soon be repaid. She said that she would help defend Earth, and then life would change forever. Was not sure what she meant, but he trusted her completely. Everything was ready now. The threat from the Collective was moving closer. The time for action was coming soon. The world was changing fast. Inside of 2 months, everything had become different. Humans were learning about space technology. Humans were training with weapons they had never seen before. The government gave special authority to work with the Empire, became a kind of ambassador between the two peoples. But not everyone was happy about this. Some people thought that working with aliens was wrong. Some people thought that humans should defend themselves without help from them. There were protests in many cities. There were people who said that Sira could not be trusted. Understood their fears. He understood that humans were afraid of change, but he also knew that Sira was telling the truth. He had seen it in her eyes. He had heard it in her voice. Reports started coming from space. The collective was moving closer to space. They were attacking smaller worlds and taking resources. The Empire was trying to stop them, but they were very powerful. Their ships were bigger than ships. Their weapons were stronger. They were losing battles. Worked with military leaders from Earth. He helped them understand how to fight in space. He taught them about and their tactics. He told them that they did not expect humans to fight. He told them that this could be an advantage. Sira came to one morning and said she needed his help with something very important. She said that an outpost called Meridian Station was in danger. The outpost was on a planet that was important to the Empire. There were families living there, not just soldiers. There were thousands of people, including children. Sira said that the collective was going to attack Meridian Station soon. The military did not have enough ships to defend the outpost and protect other important places at the same time. She asked if humans would be willing to go to Meridian Station and help defend it. Said yes without thinking about it. But then he realized what he had said. He had offered to send humans into a real battle. He had offered to send humans to fight against enemies that were very strong and very dangerous. Sira told that she would go with the humans. She said that her presence would make the other leaders believe that this mission was important. She said that she would fight alongside the humans. The government had a long meeting about this. Military leaders talked about whether this was a good idea. Some said it was too dangerous. Some said that humans were not ready for real combat in space, but the president made the decision. Humans would defend Meridian Station. Was asked to lead the human forces. He was not a military person, but the government thought that his connection to Sira made him the right choice, said he would do it. He felt the weight of this choice, but he did not say no. Thousands of human soldiers were trained and prepared. They were given ships and weapons. They were taught how to work in space and how to follow orders, spent every day with these soldiers. He learned their names. He learned their hopes and their fears. He told them that they could do this. He told them that they were brave. The day came when they had to leave Earth, said goodbye to his family. His parents did not understand why he was doing this, but they were proud of him. His sister hugged him and told him to come home safe. Got on a ship with thousands of soldiers. The ship left Earth's orbit and entered space. Looked back at Earth and saw the blue and green colors. He thought about his childhood. He thought about the girl in the barn. He thought about how far he had come from that small boy. The journey to Meridian Station took 1 week. During this time, trained with the soldiers and learned how to use the weapons. The weapons were made by and they worked in ways did not fully understand, but he learned enough to help other soldiers. Sira was on the same ship as. She spent time with him every day. She taught him more about the Empire. She taught him about honor and duty. She told him that what they were doing was important not just for Earth, but for the whole galaxy. The collective believes that might makes right, Sira said. They believe that the strongest beings have the right to rule over weaker beings. But your people know something different. Your people know that kindness and courage are stronger than weapons and power. You will show them this truth. When they arrived at Meridian Station, saw it for the first time. It was a big structure floating in space, with towers and domes. It was beautiful in its own way. Inside, there were gardens and living spaces. There were children playing. There were families trying to live normal lives even though danger was coming. The commander at the station welcomed Sira. He did not seem happy to see humans, but he respected Sira. He told that they would attack in 2 days. He said they had to prepare defenses. Spent those 2 days working with both the soldiers and the human soldiers. He taught them how to work together. He taught them how to trust each other. He told them that they were one army now, not 2 separate forces. Then they came. Their ships appeared on the screens, and there were many of them. They were bigger than the ships. They were bigger than the human ships. They looked like monsters made of metal and light. Heart was beating very fast, but he did not show his fear to the soldiers. The battle started with lights and sounds. Ships were moving very fast. Weapons were firing. The station was shaking. Could hear explosions all around him. Sira was fighting in one of the ships, commanding the fighters. Was at the main control center, trying to help coordinate all the forces. He was telling soldiers where to go and what to do. The ships were very strong. They were destroying ships. The humans were fighting hard, but they were losing. Looked at the screens and realized that they were losing the battle. But then something happened that had not expected. The human soldiers started using tactics that were not normal for space fighting. They used their ships in ways that surprised them. They used tricks and speed instead of strength. They moved their ships in patterns that seemed crazy, but they worked. One human commander had an idea. He told his soldiers to create a wall with their ships. They put all their ships together in front of them. The commander wanted to tell them to move, but said to wait. The human ships took fire. They were being destroyed. But as they were being destroyed, they were creating space for the civilian ships to escape. The families at the station were leaving in ships. The children were being taken to safety. Watched the screens as the human ships fell. One by one, they were destroyed. But every ship that was destroyed meant one more family could escape. Every human soldier who died was giving their life so that others could live. Sira was on a fighter ship, and she saw what the humans were doing. She changed her tactics. She stopped trying to fight the head-on. Instead, she protected the ships that were carrying families. She made sure the fighters helped the humans create a wall of protection. In the end, only a few human ships were left, but all the families from the station were gone. They were safe. They could not catch them. The remaining human and ships made a final stand, thought they were all going to die, but then something changed. The ships started to back away. They had gotten what they wanted, which was to destroy the station and take resources. They did not want to die fighting. They left in their big, dark ships and disappeared into space. When it was over, learned that many human soldiers had died. More than half the humans who came to defend the station were gone. But Sira came to and held him. She said, "They knew what they were doing. They chose to die so that others could live. That is the greatest thing a being can do." Was crying, but Sira's words made him understand something. The dead humans had not died for nothing. They had died with honor. They had proven something important. They had shown that humans would give everything to protect others. The leaders saw what happened at Meridian Station. They saw how humans had fought. They saw how humans had died to save others. They stopped thinking that humans were weak. They started to understand what Sira had always known. After the battle at Meridian Station, everything changed. The Empire sent messages to all the other advanced species in the galaxy. They told the story of what the humans had done. They told how humans had given their lives to protect innocent people. They told how humans had shown courage and sacrifice beyond what anyone had expected. The other alien species were shocked. They had thought humans were weak and primitive. They had thought that humans had no place in galactic society, but now they had to reconsider. They had to think about a species that would die for others. They had to think about a species that knew about honor and duty. Returned to Earth as a hero, but he did not feel like a hero. He felt sad about all the soldiers who had died. He attended many funerals. He spoke to families who had lost loved ones. He told them that their relatives had died fighting for what was right. The government wanted to give medals and honors. He accepted them, but he did not care about them. The only thing cared about was that the sacrifice of the soldiers was remembered. He made sure that memorials were built for the dead. He made sure that their names would not be forgotten. Sira came to Earth for the first time since she had left as a child. She wanted to see the places where she had hidden with. They went to Montana together. They walked through the mountains where had first found her. They went to the old barn where had taken care of her. The barn was still there, but it was old now. They stood in the place where Sira had rested. Could see the hay was gone, but the smell was still the same. Sira looked around and made soft sounds, knew she was remembering. "This place saved my life," Sira said. "But more than that, this place taught me what it means to be kind. I was taught by my people to be strong and ruthless, but you taught me something different. You taught me that strength and kindness can go together." Said, "I was just a boy. I did not know what I was doing." Sira shook her head. "That is what made it special," she said. "You did not help me because you wanted to be famous or to get something. You helped me because I needed help. That is the form of kindness." They went to his childhood home. His parents came outside and met Sira. They did not recognize her as the girl from years ago. They only knew her as the queen of the empire. They were nervous, but Sira was kind to them. She told them that their son was a hero. She told them that had saved not just her life, but had saved the future of 2 species. After this, Sira had to return to her duties as queen. But before she left, she did something official. She declared that the debt had made when he helped her in the barn was now repaid. But more than that, she announced to the whole galaxy that Earth and humanity were now full members of the Galactic Accords. Humanity was now part of the galactic community. Humans would gain access to knowledge and medicine and technology. Humans would have protection from threats in space, but humans would also have responsibilities. Humans would have to help defend the galaxy. Humans would have to work with other species. The news of this announcement caused celebration all over Earth. People were happy and excited. They knew that this was a moment that would change Earth forever. The human race had found its place among the stars. Went back to his job as an engineer, but everything was different now. He worked with engineers on building structures in space. He helped design ships and stations. He used knowledge that had once been impossible for humans to have. But kept in touch with Sira. They talked by video calls across the distance between Earth and the world. They shared their thoughts and feelings. Knew that he cared about Sira in a way that was deeper than just friendship. One day, Sira called and asked him to come visit her on the world. She said she had something she wanted to show him. Agreed, and he took a ship to the Empire. When he arrived at the world, he was amazed by what he saw. The world was beautiful. There were cities of light and buildings that seemed to float in the air. There were plants and gardens everywhere. The people were kind and welcoming. Sira met at the landing place. She was dressed in clothes that showed her status as queen, and she looked very beautiful. But when she saw, she became more relaxed. She made soft sounds that thought were sounds of happiness. Sira took to a special place. It was a garden on a high tower. From there, could see the whole city. Sira told that she had designed this garden herself. She said it was based on memories of Earth. She said she had spent years creating it because she wanted a piece of her past to exist in her future. Looked around the garden and saw plants that looked like the plants from Montana. He saw water that looked like the stream near the old barn. He saw flowers that reminded him of flowers from his childhood. Sira reached out with one of her hands and took his hand. She said, "I want you to stay here. I want you to help me build a new future. I want you to help teach my people about humanity. But more than that, I want you to stay with me." Understood what she was saying. He was not sure how a human and a could have a future together, but he knew that he wanted to try. He said yes. As time went on, and Sira became partners in every way. They worked together to strengthen the alliance between Earth and the Empire. They traveled between worlds, teaching people about each other. They showed that different species could understand and love each other. Young people from Earth came to train with the military. Young came to Earth to learn about human culture. The two species were learning from each other every day. The debt was paid, but the relationship was just beginning. Years later, stood on a high place and looked at the sky. He thought about the boy he had been. That boy had helped a frightened girl in a barn. He had not known that this small act of kindness would change the fate of his entire species. Had learned something important. He had learned that one person can make a difference. He had learned that kindness is stronger than fear. He had learned that the smallest acts can cause the greatest changes. In the distance, he could see a ship coming from Earth. It was bringing more humans to live and work on the world. Could see Sira walking toward him. When she reached him, she put her hands on his shoulders and they looked at the stars together. The human race had found its place in the galaxy. And it had all started with a boy who showed kindness to a frightened girl in an old barn many years ago.